Hello everyone! We're excited to dive deep into the Wasteland in today's Division 3 update. A broad spectrum pass over many of our maps undergoing art pass, reveals for many creatures making their debut in the Wasteland, and a variety of other Wasteland features. Let's get into it.
The Wasteland Vista, as the opening map to Division 3, has a lot of heavy lifting to do. It has to be a visual feast that demonstrates the best the Wasteland has to offer. It has to introduce more Zen-infested areas again after the relatively Zen-free Ravenholm, and step things up with Xenians taking over the Wasteland. And, lastly, it has many new creatures to introduce to the player. Creatures that help flesh out the Xenian ecosystem, and also the gameplay sandbox. Now that the map is maturing in its art pass, and it has been well tested, we feel it's beginning to reach the coveted, ready for final testing status.
From the start, we wanted to take a stab at doing the sand barnacle justice. Andy had not had a whole lot going on. The concept of the NPC, and some very rudimentary work from the cut content. Given this, he leaned a lot more on the concept and on the design of the ordinary roof barnacle, and landed on this excellently hideous critter. Beware where you tread in the Wasteland. Miss its signature pink tongue, and you might just find yourself beneath the ground.
The Wasteland is a place fraught with danger and hostile wildlife, but it was important to us that it also retains some of that alien beauty and intrigue that makes Zen so enticing. A passive NPC that gives the player a boon if they're careful around it, the Protozoan injects a small but friendly presence into a handful of maps, floating harmlessly around the Wasteland.
Wasteland 02 has the important role of introducing the Antlion Caves, wrapping up the initial on-foot journey in Division 3. Having just given the steamboat, the player has the opportunity to test it out on the combine facility built specifically to monitor the cave. But an outbreak is slowly overwhelming them, just in time for Gordon to seal the deal.
The Wasteland, in addition to having the detritus of shipwrecks, failed settlers, and combine colonization, also needed some visual indications of its once identity as an actual ocean. To this end, we researched coral skeletons, then modeled a variety of subtypes that can be arranged into forests like those you see here. These help bring an extra detail layer to the Wasteland, and are a reminder of what was lost with its creation.
Where new NPCs for the Wasteland were concerned, we had two directions we pursued. One focused on entirely new NPCs, but these are expensive to create, and so had to be kept conservative. The other direction was consolidating existing NPC types already in the mod, and with that route, we introduced the Alpha Houndai. This larger, more aggressive member of the Houndai species serves a pack leader role. In gameplay terms, all Houndais in the same squad as the Alpha will no longer display fear behavior as long as it lives. Once it dies, however, the surrounding pack will be sent into disarray. This will add an extra layer to Houndai combat in the Wasteland, focus the Alpha to send the pack running, or deal with its weaker squad mates first to isolate the more dangerous Alpha on its own.
Along the same lines as the Alpha Houndai, the baby bull squid introduces just a little bit more variety where bull squids are utilized. Based on the baby bull squid NPC from Easy 2, Andy managed to make something that is cute in an ugly way. But don't be fooled, these things are vicious and in small groups can tear apart larger creatures like you.
The first of the Jeep maps gives the player a dose of vehicle navigation in the Wasteland, something we've been fairly conservative with in Division 3, since the player will escape the air exchange with it in Division 4. Still, in this opening map, we introduce a more original environment, the shantytown of Oldsea, one of the only true settlements in the entire Wasteland. Kept low-key to avoid drawing attention from nearby combine outposts, its settlers have found a way to tame the Wasteland, with the help of a few friendly Vortigons, and eke out challenging but freer living.
Samuel has been upgraded in the human hierarchy of RTBR. He is the de facto mayor of Oldsea. He's seen many folks come and go, some just passing through looking for an elusive place free from the Combine's watchful eye, some boldly claiming they can handle the Wasteland just fine on their own. For those of Oldsea, Samuel is a pillar of security, a level-headed man who has gotten them through much of the worst hardships since banding together. Our concept art gives him a slightly different look to the other Wasteland citizens, and in-game, we've modified the art face map with a bit more wear and tear to indicate Samuel's mature status.
One of the tools the citizens of Old Sea have found most helpful are military-grade headphones. Salvaged and carefully maintained, these noise-canceling headphones present some small defense against the sonic attacks of the Hound Eyes. Although, as you will see in one scene in the town, deadening most outside sounds can have its own drawbacks.
Old Sea is a town of survivors, and those survivors have learnt to live off the land, however possible. These plant pots will be found stacked around the town, ready to be put to good use where the opportunity presents itself, and will find their main use in the greenhouse, where one refugee with a green thumb treats Xenian and Earth plant life with equal reverence.
Most shelters in the Wasteland are ramshackle or non-existent, but something is better than nothing in these wild dunes, and old camping tents will be found sprinkled around in makeshift campsites. Some have simply been abandoned as their users have moved on elsewhere, and at Old Sea, they're used to bolster living space, but some campsites will be grim reminders that nowhere is truly safe out here.
The second Jeep map increases the density of Combine presence and fortification, now approaching the depot directly. The area here is beginning to see lesser signs of Xenian wildlife, pruned to ease the work of patrols around the region. You'll need to push through these fortifications and into the depot, even if it means saying goodbye to your trusty vehicle.
And the grand reveal of our Jeep, gnarled up and adapted by the Wasteland's occupants for rapid relocation and raiding missions, the Jeep has a lot of inspirations. Firstly, of course, Half-Life 2's Jeep, but some extra parts were inspired by the slightly more bulked up Jeep from the cut model. Then, we have some of the other details, like the bigger headlamps, which are instead inspired by the cut jalopy model from Episode 2. The result is a vehicle that has certainly seen better days, but still has quite a bit of fight left in it.
A missing group in RTBR's citizen repertoire were the refugee group, folks fleeing the Combine's gaze, and whose clothing is more worn or the jumpsuits removed altogether. This missing group has now been added to the regular citizen pool, and some may be spotted out in the Wasteland, alive or dead, trying their luck.
The last map we're showing today, the Wasteland Bridge, is the final map of Division 3. You've pushed all the way through the depot, and now have ended up at the far side after rescuing Dr. Maxwell. You and Alex will storm some of this last outpost together, and then hitch a ride out of there. Some resistance is expected. A Torn in the player's side makes their last gambit to stop Gordon, Alex, Eli, and T-Bot making it out of there alive.
Now that the depot journey is approaching its proper end with the Wasteland Bridge, the depot has received its own totally unique model. The depot has received a visual redesign to bring it in line with much of the bespoke Combine technology seen in the mod, whilst lots of rebuilds hint at the significant interiors you witness on your way through. It'll be retroactively added to all maps where the depot is visible and perform a similar wayfinding goal to the Citadel.
We hope you've enjoyed this detailed breakdown of the Wasteland in Division 3. It's been highly rewarding to see these maps come along. As usual, some roles we're looking for on the team. Level designers. We're still looking for blockout mappers to help push on Division 4 and onwards, and also art passers to help tie Division 3 and 4 together. Portal level designers. We're still looking for mappers with experience in Portal to help crack on with Triumph. And hard surface modelers. We're always looking for skilled modelers ready to take a crack at remaking Half-Life 2 and Cup props alike. Stay tuned for more updates around the RTBR family coming up soon, and for a roundup update of Division 3 later this year.